Unity of the Huachucas presents Susan Smith, LUT.
Let's give each other a hand.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for all that wonderful music, Tanya, and your enthusiasm. As always, lovely. Oh, and my paper. It's coming. I got it. Never fear. You're in the hands of a professional. Okay, wow. Joyce, I love that. Thank you for giving me a hand. So today the theme is let's give each other a hand. And it's just really just about supporting, loving, supporting, and encouraging one another, which I really just believe is what we're here for. And just a couple days ago, my friend, my coworker Linda, she was showing me a picture of her two-month-old granddaughter. And she was just looking up at this mobile that Linda had bought her, and she had this big old smile on her face. And then Linda was sharing this time that she was sharing with her grandson, and I can't think of his name right now, so it doesn't matter. Her grandson, she took him, he was 4 years old, he was at the playhouse, and he played for like 3 hours in this bounce house. And then she took him to the Chick-fil-A, and then he wanted to play some more. And how much fun she had, and how wonderful. And then her 4-year-old grandson is a pandemic baby, and she was talking a little bit about some of the challenges he's had with language and speech, and and she talks to other people, and I'm like, oh yes, that's something we're seeing because masks were worn when they were developing speaking, and also having certain hyperactivity and certain social things because they were more isolated. And it just made, the village idea and us sharing, and so that was just love. It was just it's so easy for us to share stories about love for children, right? And grandchildren, and for me to share in that, just feel that love. And I'm sure you've all had experiences like that. It's so easy for us to feel that with children, for most of us. Not everyone, for most of us. We can get there really easy, right? And each of us deserves that love all the time for each other. And sometimes it gets a little harder when we become adults, right? So today I really want to talk about that, how we can maybe try to translate that love we have for children. And think about babies, especially babies who begin walking, or if they're not able to walk, just starting to explore the world. And the encouragement and the excitement that we have for them, right? We just want them to, like, come on, little baby, you got it. We get the big smiles on our faces. And how can we do that for each other? And I really want us to kind of think of ourselves as children, and think of ourselves as how we thought as children, and how that lending a hand that we do so naturally, generally, for children, we should do towards ourselves. We can lend towards our family, our friends, our community, the people that we connect with, and then even channeling that out to everyone, everywhere. Because, and I really want to talk about this in a way of just the area of influence. We're most influenced on ourselves. So it's very hard for us to lend a hand to give love, support, and encouragement to others if we're not doing it for ourselves. And sometimes it's really hard to do it for ourselves. I get it. That might be a hard thing for you. It's kind of hard for me sometimes. But that's where we need to start. And then we can branch out to those that we love, right? That we share our lives with, that are in our community, in our circle. And then when we do that, then we can go out further to everyone. And we ground this all in this understanding that there is only love, that is who we are. That's what I want to talk about a little bit today. And I just wanted to, it's just basically a call to action. It's the scripture I shared this week is, for this is the message that you have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. It's really a call to action, that we should love one another. And believe me, I understand, sometimes it's easier than others, right? For ourselves, for our loved ones, or for just anyone else, all the other people in the world. Because we don't always agree with each other, do we? We're not always happy with ourselves. We're not always like looking at our loved ones going, what the heck are they up to, right? There's a lot going on, But I'm hoping today to give you some ideas and thoughts about how you can actually do this, how you can lend a hand. So first of all, I want to talk about ourselves, all right? So when we're children, and all of us here, we're privileged to be able to take those first steps. I think we were really fueled with passion, enthusiasm, zeal, right? Like we wanted to learn the world. And I think that when we're kids, and we see it in children, we haven't got those negative messages implanted too much yet, right? We haven't gotten the no, you can't do that. You're not good enough. We haven't gotten those. Wherever those messages come from, and we've all had them from different angles in our lives, they haven't really, we understand and know what I would say our divinity. We understand that we are perfect, complete, and whole, and that we are supported. And that's our job. We've got something to do. And I believe because we just know that we're loved and we're love in expression. And we kind of start forgetting who we are. But I think that's when that purity is. Remember that was you. We all did it. That was who we were. We're here now. And I believe that it's based in the premise that we are love. And there's a great quote I like to start. So the three things I really want to talk about when I'm talking about giving each other a hand is to love, to support, and to encourage. So loving ourselves, that might sound really hard for you. Or maybe a hard thing for you. So maybe just giving yourself appreciation. But I'm going to tell you, loving yourself is based on the principle that you are perfect, complete, and whole, and are 100% divine. You are also 100% human, and that human you might be doing things that you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, right? That happens. Like, oh my goodness, what did I just do? I just walked out of here before doing the affirmation. Good heavens, you know. But that's just being human. But we're also 100% divine, and that's where that love comes from, that we can offer for ourselves. And here's a quote from Eric Butterworth. It's from his book, Practical Metaphysics. He's a Unity minister, very well known. I am created in and of love. It's my nature. It's the root of my being. God loves me. God is love in me. And I am the very activity of love in expression. I am the very activity of love in expression, which means I have within me all the love in the universe. Just feel that for a minute. If we could just believe that. And I know there's a part of you that knows this. This 100% divine knows this. Your human part might go, hey, but there's a part of you that knows you, and I'm just going to ask you to open yourself up to that. Even a nanosecond of knowing I have within me all the love in the universe, knowing that, we can do anything. So the first step is just to know love for yourself. Self-appreciation, if that's easier words for you. And to do that, prayer, right? Meditation. Reaching out to others who can hold the high watch for you and tell you that. Go out in nature. See things and listen to music, whatever affirms that for you. And I don't know what that is because we're all individual expressions. But I think being here is a pretty great start. So give yourself a hand for doing that. So that's the first step. But doubt creeps in, right? Because we are adults. We are, and we're here because we care about the world. We're caring about how we're expressing. You wouldn't be here if you weren't interested in evolving and growing. That's why you're here. That's definitely why you're here. That is your interest. So you're here because doubt creeps in. Wherever those messages came from, and we all heard them one way or the other, and I am not condemning the messengers, because we're all just trying to figure out how to live in this world together. But when that doubt comes in, those limiting ideas, that's when we need to figure out how to support ourselves. How do we give ourselves a hand? How do we give ourselves a hand to remember that we are love and expression, and able to express fully as we are, the truth of us, our 100% divinity in this 100% human life. It's a paradox, it's just what it is. How do we do that? And there's a great quote from Robert Brummett, because I believe that we are fully equipped always to do what we want, what we are called to do. We can support ourselves. You have the DNA, the wisdom within your very DNA to know what you need to do when you need to do it, to know what to say when you need to say it. This is in your DNA. You might have forgotten it, but it is. I'm telling you right now, it's in your DNA. And Robert Brummett, author of Quest for Wholeness, he's another Unity minister. This is his quote. He says, "We may turn to God for help and move our feet. God works through us, but not for us. God is not a giant in the sky who will solve our problems for us, but God is that giant within us who will guide us to right understanding and to right action. God is that giant within us that will guide us to right understanding and to right action. You have a giant within you. Isn't that amazing? You are love expressing with a giant within you. So guess what? You can figure out ways to support yourself. And I'm going to give you 3 suggestions. So supporting ourselves is like when babies are learning how to walk. We're going to clear the room, right? We're going to make sure there isn't things for them to trip over. We're going to be around to catch them, right? We're going to do a lot. We're going to support them. We baby-proof our homes, right? We do all sorts of things. We create an environment. And that's what I mean by support. What are we doing? What are the actions we are taking in order to help ourselves, love ourselves, accept ourselves, give ourselves a hand to be the best that we can be and express as we want to express, as we desire. So what are some things we can do? Well, we have that self-determination as babies, right? And I think that is that knowing that we are doing the best we can. You know, when you're a baby, you fell down a lot. You did all sorts of crazy stuff that I don't know about you as an adult. I just look back at some of the, you know, like we used to do the sledding, and no wonder my sister broke her finger. Like we actually bounced off a tree. I thought that was a good idea. You know, no, I mean it's amazing. But you know, we have this confidence. So, and I think it's because we knew we were just doing the best we can. And I'm here to tell you that's number 1. I want you to remember, you're always doing the best you can. Now you might want to do better, you might have expectations of doing better, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're always doing the best you can because of whatever the conditioning your life that told you to behave the way you are and matching the conditions you find yourself in. It matches up and then you have a behavior. I might be sitting there and thinking I should be doing this, but I'm going to sit and relax right now. And I might think, oh, I could be doing better. I could be getting something done. Well, right now, I feel like I need to relax, and my conditions and my conditionings. So you're always doing the best you can. I've told you this before, but it's really powerful. So that's a way to support yourself. Just remind yourself. The other thing I'm going to encourage you to do is to just not compare yourself unfavorably to anyone else. Comparison is not a bad thing. We can be inspired by people. We can look at other people and go, don't want to do that. You know, I mean, we can, right? We look at things as cautionary tales. That's okay. We don't do it in a mean and degrading way, but just simply as a way like, okay, I can learn from your mistake. That's something I probably will try not to do that myself. But when we look at someone else and we degrade ourselves or limit ourselves because we think, oh, well, I'll never be like so-and-so, forget it. Oh, forget it. You know, do you think you did that when you were a baby? Do you think little Susie looked over at little Sally and saw Sally, she's like, oh, she's so graceful. Look at her. She's going to be a prima donna. I can never walk like, I'm just going to give up walking. Right? I mean, but it's a joke, but it's really true. I think as children, we're just so wide open and we know who we are. So comparison, be careful of that. Just put a caution flag out on the play. I'm supporting myself. Caution. Good for them. I can be inspired by this person, but I don't have to look at them. I don't have to sing like Julie Andrews in order to get up and lead a group of people in singing. I just don't. I don't. I just need to be 100% me, and the 100% me that's human showing up, which is what we need each and every one of us to be, because that's what you are. So that's the second thing. And then the other thing I'm going to give you is a tool I learned from Rhonda Britton's Fearless Living program many years ago. And it's something called acknowledgments. And I probably mentioned it before, but it's just such a great tool, and I've been using it a lot lately because I just feel like I've been kind of falling short in some of my own personal expectations. And acknowledgments are just basically a tool to tell yourself, I acknowledge myself for getting out of bed this morning. And it can be that simple. I acknowledge myself for, for driving down here this morning. I acknowledge myself for following through on my commitments. Be as specific as you can. I acknowledge myself for remembering to acknowledge myself. I acknowledge myself for just getting out of bed when I didn't want to. You know, there's a lot of things, but the more specific you can be, and yes, that's that 100% human of you. That's the action part. That's you being in the world, and it's like, how can I acknowledge that? So I'm going to encourage, those are 3 tools to, you know, support yourself. Give yourself a hand. Love yourself. It's another way of saying love yourself. I'm trying to get fancy here. Okay, and then the final thing I'm going to encourage you is to cheer yourself on. And that means encouragement, right? So just like I was talking about with babies, you know, we go, come on, do that for yourself. And all right, it might be embarrassing, okay? I'll go to the bathroom and go, yay me. You know, I did that. I will constantly toot my own praises at work. Ask anybody I work with. And one thing I think that we hesitate to do this is because we've gotten those messages, we're going to break our arm. Right? You ever hear that? Don't pat your back, you're going to break your arm. You can't. You can't. And anyone who gave you those messages, they just didn't want you to get conceited or think you were better than anyone else. It wasn't ill-intended. But I think if it holds you back from expressing the whole of who you are, to support yourself, love yourself, give yourself a hand. Yeah, give yourself a hand, pat yourself on the back. You know, when we were babies learning to walk and learning to just grow and evolve, we didn't worry about puffing ourselves up. You know, remember when you were a kid and you just came home and like, oh, I got it, I aced my test. Well, maybe you didn't, but someone was like, you know, or I wasn't embarrassed at an age, but just whatever it might have been. I made that goal. I probably wasn't proud when I made the goal for the wrong side in the basketball team, which did happen to me. But I can laugh at myself, so that's good. But whatever it is, we can be proud. You know, when we were babies, like, yay me. When we're children, we do it. I encourage you to do that. Don't worry about puffing yourself up. There is no Mr. Big Head. Anybody hear about Mr. Big Head? I think eventually I'm going to get to the bottom of this. But this is something I heard as a kid. Watch out for Mr. Big Head. And I always just imagine like this big-headed giant, like going to stomp you down. I think it's a cultural reference either from my family or from where I grew up. Someday I'll figure it out. But there is no such thing. So those are the 3 things. As you give yourself a hand, love yourself, and that's your 100% divine self. There's no conditions on it because you are a timeless being, an expression of that which we call God. So you don't have to put conditions on that. Every minute is fresh and new, again and again and again. And then you can go ahead and give yourself that support. Support yourself by just remembering you're doing the best you can. Letting go of limiting comparisons. And then finally, giving yourself acknowledgments. Doing all of those things. So that's what I encourage you to do. And then just remember who you are. And then we can expand that. We give it to ourselves, and we have to over and over again, right? This isn't a one and done. Over and over and over again. And the more we have this for ourselves, the more we're able to expand this into our circle of friends, into our communities, into the people we work with. And that's also, let's give each other a hand. Let's do that for one another. And again, we always start just by remembering, it's not conditional. It's not always about how people are behaving. Love is the first piece, and love is just, I see the divinity within you. I recognize that. You know, they also have all the love in the universe within them. They are also love expressing. So that's what we do. So we start with that love piece. And then we will be guided by right action. Remember what Robert Brumme said. You'll know what you'll know. You'll say what to say. And sometimes it's really hard. You know, a good friend of mine up in Mesa, we've known for, over 30 years now, you know, she called me with some really difficult news about her husband. And I didn't know what to say. I love him too. I love her. I love him. I love both of them. And this is that part of that 100% human thing. We just go through stuff that's hard sometimes. But at the end of that conversation, I just remember saying, I love you. And I know that made a difference. And it's okay. We can go back and try again and again and again. So we can support. And I'm going to say a little something about toxic positivity. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with this term or not. But toxic positivity is, so when we're offering support to people, sometimes we'll say, oh, it's all right. It's going to be fine. And you know, we're just doing the best we can. Always give yourself a break, right? Don't compare yourself to someone else like, wow, they always know what to say. Those 3 tips still apply. And then acknowledge yourself for trying, okay? But toxic positivity is something we do need to be careful of. And toxic positivity is just kind of pretending things aren't as they are. You know, we are 100% human and we're 100% divine. And sometimes our 100% human is going through a hard time. I heard a great thing on a podcast, and I'm so sorry, I don't know who to attribute this to, but I was listening to a podcaster, and they were saying, one of my favorites wrote something in a book for me to encourage me, and it really helped me. And this was something that they wrote to support them, and they said, it's going to be okay, sort of. Right? Doesn't that resonate?
Sort of.
And it's going to be okay as we are timeless, divine beings. We have no beginning, we have no end. And we can connect and know that in our hearts. Anytime we can reach out to each other and know that. We can know that for each other when we forget, which we do sometimes. That's it, it's going to be okay. Because everything is temporal and everything's changing and nothing is going to stay the same. They pulled down the McDonald's over across from Park Place Mall in Tucson. And for some reason, this has become my symbol of impermanence. I'm like, I just thought that thing would be there forever. And I'm like, well, there you go. Even a McDonald's gets totally taken. Within a week. It was just, every time I see it, people are so sick of hearing about this McDonald's. I was driving home with my roommate, Pat, and there's that McDonald's. It's gone. It's gone. This is what it's like to live with me. But,
Sort of.
yeah. It's going to be okay, sort of. That's what we're here. So I just it's okay, you know, and culturally we're very, it's good to be positive, better to be positive than negative, right? But just kind of pay attention to that in your own mind. How can I really support this person? I love you. And just do things for each other. And you know what that is. I don't need to tell you because you're divinely guided. And part of that is taking care of yourself. And I haven't seen her yet. And I'm okay with that. I was busy, it's okay. It's not like I'm totally shirking my duties as a friend, but it also is very, I've suffered a lot of loss in my life. So I just have to get to a space, and this is another one, and I just have to get comfortable where I can support her. So it always goes back to love, then here, you know, and it's a cycle. We just keep going back, okay? So we can give each other encouragement, right? And that one you guys know how to do. You did it when I came up here and you gave me a hand. There's a song by Janice Sandfield. It's so beautiful. It says, I believe in you. I believe there's nothing you can't do. Trouble just passing through. Believe it. And I love that. I'm a song person, so I'm always like, I'll sing those little songs to my head with somebody. So just really, you are fully equipped. That's my encouragement right now. You are fully equipped. You can handle everything. And I will say one more thing about lending a hand to our loved ones and those in our community. And I am going to say it's all right to have boundaries. It's all right to have a boundary. It's all right to say, I've done what I can for you, and I'm going to love you from afar. That's okay too. That's also being loving. Because sometimes people in our life, and I have people in my life, where the relationship had just become toxic. And it wasn't healthy for me. And it wasn't healthy for them anymore because of because of the way that I was oversharing and overdoing. So it's okay sometimes to set a boundary. We can still love them. We can still support them in ways, support organizations, support things that might help them. And we can also encourage them in our hearts, right? And see them and know them and feel them being supported and getting the help. And that just leads me to the last thing, because how I deal with that is making sure that I am a positive, give everyone a hand in the world. Because I know that by making the world a better place, by my serving other people's loved ones that perhaps they've had to set a boundary on, supporting organizations that support those loved ones, I know I'm giving them a hand and I'm giving my loved ones a hand. And I know there's people who are not in my life right now that are being supported and loved by others. If that makes any sense. Does that make sense? So that is just the next thing I want to talk about, and just really, how do we do that? And it's kind of those three things. How do we help people in the world? How do we help everyone? How do we give each other a hand? How do we love? And just going back to what we talked about at the beginning is, first of all, it is our commission to love one another. Second, knowing that we have all the love in the world within us. And third, knowing that we have the wisdom. We know how to do it. So grounding ourselves in those things, we know how to do this. And one of the things you can talk about love is that, just kind of like setting boundaries, we can love someone and at the same time not like them. All right? We can require justice for someone. It's not okay for someone to hurt another person. It's not okay for someone to hurt you. It's just not okay. They are lost, and they're outside of their own wholeness doing it. And we know their wholeness, and in their wholeness, we can hold them to account. So I just want to say that. That's something to think about. It's love and like are not always the same. Love is unconditional. Love is about the divinity, the wholeness within us. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this type of love. Okay? So in the world, we can love, prayer, get together, hold each other in the high watch, right? We do so much of that already. I know you do a ton of that in the community. And then support. Just make the world a kinder place. Whatever you can do to make the world a kinder, hold the door open for somebody. Right? Smile at somebody. Wave. Find something in common with someone that you completely disagree with. Right? You love your dog? Oh, I do too. I love my dog. I love him so much. How different can we be? You love your child? Oh, I love mine. You love your mom? Oh, me too. Wow. We have so much in common. We have so much more in common than difference. And we just live in a world where our differences are amplified. And that's just where we're at right now. And I believe that it can change. And the change starts here. Right? So make the world a little bit of place. That's how we support that, how we give each other a hand. And then the last thing is just encouragement, right? Let's cheer each other on. And I'm going to share one last story. And you might have seen this. There is a Netflix documentary on YouTube called The Turnaround. If you haven't seen it, I'll recommend it. And The Turnaround is a story about a Philadelphia, the baseball team, sorry, Phillies? Yeah, Phillies. The Philadelphia Phillies fan. And the Philadelphia Phillies in 2023 signed a new player. And I'm sorry, I don't know a lot about baseball, so any of you huge baseball fans, I apologize for the language, but it's a great story, like baseball or not. So they signed a new player whose name was Trea Turner. And Trea Turner had this huge, huge contract. And the Phillies were all excited, like, he's going to take us to the, we're going to go to great heights. And Trea Turner started his season in a slump. And it was a bad slump. He was not performing the way they wanted him. And the Phillies are kind of a rambunctious crowd. They would boo him. And everybody was kind of unhappy. And then one of their big fans, his name is John McCann. He has a YouTube channel, and it's called The Philly Captain on his YouTube channel. He's like, what if we supported him instead? And he asked the fans, let's support him. Every time Trea Turner gets up, let's give him a standing ovation, regardless of what he does. Let's cheer him. Let's all wear his shirt. Let's cheer him on instead. You think that made a difference? Mm-hmm. And the amazing thing about John McCain is, I'm not sure it's McCann, I think, is he shared in this stage, he shares his own mental health journey. And he's an understanding. A slump is just a mental health issue, right? He's having a slump. It's something going on in his brain. He's skilled, he can do it, and somehow he's just gotten out of whack. And he recognized that. And this man started with himself. This is how I love myself. This is my community of friends. Now let's go out to the whole world and let's just encourage this man. And it made a difference. He got a run that day. It is attributed somewhat to Trea Turner's turnaround. Turnaround. Couldn't help that. So he did have a turnaround. He did have a turnaround. It's a beautiful. So if you have Netflix, The Turnaround, I definitely recommend it. But all of these fans, 42,000 fans, encouraging him, clapping for him. Think of how it works in your life. Think about those babies when we encourage them, when we clap. So that's what I mean by giving a hand, figuratively and literally. Let's give each other a hand. We can do it. It's a beautiful story. It's the power of community. And all those people don't agree on everything, I assure you. But they came together that day. And then we saw the power of encouragement. So that's what I'm encouraging you this week. I'm going to encourage you to just remember to give yourself a hand, to give your friends, your family members, those in your tribe a hand, to give everyone a hand, to remember to be loving and remember the truth of who they are, to be encouraging and supportive. And you can do that by using those tools. You're always doing the best you can. Say no to negative comparison. There's a third one. See, I'm doing a good example. Isn't that great? Doing the best you can.
Acknowledge yourself.
Acknowledge yourself. See, you're listening. I was testing you. And acknowledge yourself. Do those things. Because that's what we're here for, to answer that commission. Our job is to love one another. And thank you for doing that. And I'm going to end with a meditation. Okay. So this is a loving kindness meditation. I got this off of the internet. There's tons of them. This is a great way to practice that self-love and sending love to others. And if you have questions about the script, let me know. I have edited it quite a bit for just time. So right now, just go ahead and relax yourself. Close your eyes. Bring your attention inward. And just, however it's comfortable for you, just let go. If you want to just brush off any thoughts, ideas, beliefs that limit you, that you're very safe here among friends. And at this time, I want you to bring your mind the image or get the feeling of a person that you know or you've known in your life to be loving and kind to you. Someone who easily invokes feelings of warmth and love. It could be a spouse or partner, parent or family member, a mentor or close friend, someone who has been good to you, helps you feel safe and whole, whose caring easily emanates from them to you. And if a person, past or present, doesn't come to mind, maybe someone you know who is an inspiration may come to mind. Someone it's easy to imagine sending you wishes of well-being to, wishing them well, imagine saying to them, may you be happy, healthy, and whole. May you have love, warmth, and affection. May you be protected from harm and free from fear. May you be alive, engaged, and joyful. May you experience inner peace and ease. As you feel those feelings, as you share that with them, now I want you to imagine this person or figure wishing you these very same things, knowing that they have your well-being in their heart. Imagine them saying to you, may you be happy, healthy, and whole. May you have love, warmth, and affection in your life. May you be protected from harm and free from fear. May you be alive, engaged, and joyful. May you experience inner peace and ease. Letting those feelings wash over you, feeling their unconditional love and caring for you. Letting the feelings of love and safety grow in you, knowing there's nothing you have to do to deserve these feelings and wishes, that they are given freely, without condition. Seeing if you can connect to the meaning of these phrases, even if you might not feel all the safety and warmth right now. Knowing that their wish is for you, and now seeing if you can have these wishes for yourself. Hearing yourself say to yourself, may I be happy and healthy and loved. May I be safe and protected. May I be alive and free. May I experience inner peace and ease. You may To expand even further out, to go ahead and expand to acquaintances, people you know but don't have a personal relationship, the people you see around town, your neighbors, even people you don't have strong feelings about, like the salesperson who checks your groceries, saying to these people, may you be happy and healthy and loved. May you be safe and protected, free from suffering. May you be alive, engaged, and joyful. May you have inner peace and ease. And finally, extend these wishes to someone who's difficult for you right now. Not necessarily the most difficult person in your life, just someone for whom there's been sort of a frustration or misunderstanding. And doing this, it might help to remember that, just like you, they want to be loved. And just like you, they want peace in their life. Say to yourself, just like me, they want to feel happiness and joy. Just like me, they want peace and ease. And they want to be loved, and to know that their loved ones are safe and healthy. And just like me, they are doing the best they can with what inner and outer resources they have. Now silently saying to them, may you feel peace and ease. May you have love and warmth in your life. May you be happy, healthy, and whole. And then we expand that circle out to include everyone and everything. All people, all cultures, all beings, all nature. Say these words in your heart. May you be happy and healthy. May you have peace and ease. May you have love and warmth in your life. And know, as you've done this, you've done good work. You've shared love for yourself, your loved ones, and for everyone. And thank you for doing that. And you can bring your attention back to the room. Thank you very much.